The Evolution of Godzilla. A deep dive into the King of Monsters. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something absolutely ginormous. That's right. We're talking about the one and only Godzilla. T-Rex fire from a symbol of nuclear devastation to a global pop culture icon. Godzilla has stomped his way into the hearts of millions. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's journey through the colossal history of the King of Monsters. Alright, let's get real for a second. We all know Godzilla as that giant lizard who loves to smash cities and battle other huge creatures, right? But there's so much more beneath those massive scales. Godzilla isn't just a monster. He's a mirror reflecting the fears, hopes, and dreams of society across generations. Today, we're gonna peel back the layers, scales, and explore how this towering titan evolved over the years. Whether you're a hardcore kaiju fan or just curious about why this big guy is such a big deal, stick around. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. The birth of a monster. Let's kick things off by traveling back to 1954. Picture post-World War II Japan, a nation grappling with the aftermath of unprecedented nuclear devastation. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were recent memories, and the Cold War was stoking global fears of nuclear annihilation. Out of this atmosphere of anxiety and reflection emerged a creature that would embody all those complex emotions. Godzilla. Gojira, 1954, wasn't just any monster flick, it was a groundbreaking cinematic experience. The plot centers on a prehistoric sea creature awakened and mutated by underwater hydrogen bomb tests. Godzilla rises from the depths, laying waste to cities with his immense size and atomic breath. But here's the kicker. The real monster wasn't Godzilla, it was the nuclear age itself. The film introduced us to memorable characters like Dr. Serizawa, who faces a moral dilemma over using a devastating weapon to stop Godzilla. The themes were heavy, touching on the ethics of science, the horrors of war, and the loss of innocence. Japanese audiences were deeply moved, finding a cathartic outlet for their collective trauma. The film was a massive success, establishing Godzilla as a cultural symbol from the get-go. Godzilla's rise in the Showa era. As we move into the Showa era, spanning from 1955 to 1975, something interesting happens. Godzilla starts to change, not just in appearance but in role. From being a terrifying force of nature, he gradually becomes an anti-hero and eventually a protector of humanity. It's like watching a wrestling heel turn face. In Godzilla Raids Again, 1955, he battles another monster, Anguirus, shifting the focus from man versus monster to monster versus monster action. By the time Invasion of Astro Monster, 1965, rolls around, Godzilla is teaming up with humans to fight off alien threats. Talk about character development. This era also saw the introduction of other iconic kaiju. Who could forget Mothra, the giant mystical moth, or King Ghidorah, the three-headed dragon from outer space? These films expanded the Godzilla universe into a full-fledged kaiju cinematic world. Destroy All Monsters, 1968, was like the Avengers of its time, assembling multiple monsters for an epic showdown on Monster Island. So, why the big shift in tone? Well, Japan was experiencing a period of economic growth and optimism. The bleakness of the post-war years was fading, and that was reflected in cinema. The films became more fantastical and fun, resonating with international audiences as well. Godzilla was no longer just Japan's monster, he was becoming a global phenomenon. The Heisei era reboot. Jumping ahead to the 1980s, the Heisei era brought Godzilla back to his darker origins. The Return of Godzilla, 1984, acted as a direct sequel to the 1954 original, ignoring the lighter Showa films. This reboot presented Godzilla once again as an unstoppable force and a metaphor for nuclear destruction, echoing Cold War tensions. With advancements in technology, the Heisei films elevated special effects to new heights. Suitmation techniques improved, making Godzilla more lifelike than ever. Movies like Godzilla vs. Biollante, 1989, introduced us to new, complex adversaries born from genetic engineering, a hot topic at the time. These films delved deeper into themes like environmentalism and bioethics. Godzilla was portrayed as a victim of human hubris, adding layers to his character. He was not just a monster but a tragic figure, a consequence of mankind's destructive tendencies. This era gave us stories that were not only visually stunning but also intellectually engaging. The Millennium Era and Reinvention. The Millennium Era took a different approach. Each film was a standalone story, allowing filmmakers to reimagine Godzilla in various ways without being tied down by previous continuity. This anthology style kicked off with Godzilla 2000, Millennium, 1999, introducing Godzilla to a new generation and setting the stage for innovative storytelling. These films tapped into contemporary issues like alien invasions, advanced technology, and global catastrophes. Godzilla, Mothra and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack, 2001, even portrayed Godzilla as an ancient spirit, blending supernatural elements with modern fears. The flexibility of the standalone format let each film explore different facets of the character and the world. By this time, Godzilla was a full-blown international star. The Millennium films were designed with a global audience in mind, featuring higher production values and broader appeal. Collaborations with international studios and worldwide releases helped cement Godzilla's status as a global icon. Godzilla in Western cinema. Okay, let's talk about the 1998 Godzilla. Directed by Roland Emmerich, this Hollywood take was controversial, to say the least. The film reimagined Godzilla as a mutated iguana, and while it had big-budget effects and plenty of action, it missed the mark for many fans. Critics and longtime Godzilla enthusiasts felt it lacked the essence of the original character, the symbolism, the gravitas, the atomic breath. It turned Godzilla into a generic monster movie, stripping away the layers that made the character compelling. But hey, it did introduce Godzilla to a wider Western audience, so it wasn't all bad. Redemption came with Legendary Pictures' Monsterverse. Starting with Godzilla, 2014, directed by Gareth Edwards, the franchise breathed new life into Godzilla for Western audiences. This film paid homage to the original while updating the story for modern times. It balanced human drama with epic monster action, giving fans the Godzilla they deserved. The Monsterverse expanded with Kong, Skull Island, 2017, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019, and the much-anticipated Godzilla vs. Kong, 2021. These films embraced the spectacle, featuring jaw-dropping visuals and bringing classic monsters back into the spotlight. They successfully merged Eastern and Western storytelling elements, appealing to a global fanbase. The collaboration between Toho and Legendary allowed for a fusion of cultural perspectives. Western iterations began to incorporate the themes and symbolism that were central to the original films, while also adding their own flair. This cross-cultural exchange enriched the franchise, making Godzilla a truly global icon. The cultural impact of Godzilla. Godzilla's enduring appeal lies in his rich symbolism. He's more than just a giant monster. He's a representation of nature's wrath, the perils of nuclear power, and the unintended consequences of human actions. These themes are universal and timeless, allowing each generation to find relevance in his stories. From music and television to video games and literature, Godzilla's influence is everywhere. Bands like Blue Oyster Cult sang about him, while shows like The Simpsons and South Park have parodied him. Video games let players step into the massive footprints of Godzilla and other kaiju, bringing the experience into interactive realms. He's even made his way into fashion and art, proving that his impact goes beyond the screen. The Godzilla fandom is a passionate and dedicated community. Conventions like G-Fest celebrate all things kaiju, featuring panels, screenings, and collectibles. Fans express their love through art, cosplay, and fan fiction, keeping the spirit of Godzilla alive and thriving. Social media groups and forums connect fans worldwide, fostering a sense of community centered around the King of Monsters. The monster's legacy and future. So, why does Godzilla continue to captivate us after all these years? It's his ability to evolve while staying true to core themes. Each era reinterprets him to reflect contemporary issues, ensuring he remains relevant. Plus, let's face it, the spectacle of giant monsters battling it out never gets old. Looking ahead, there's plenty for fans to be excited about. Toho is planning new projects, potentially expanding their own cinematic universe of kaiju. The Monsterverse shows no signs of slowing down, with rumors of new films and even spin-off series. Animated ventures like Godzilla Singular Point or exploring innovative storytelling methods, blending science fiction and mythology. Godzilla paved the way for the entire genre of giant monster films. His legacy can be seen in movies like Pacific Rim, which celebrates kaiju culture, and Cloverfield, which brought a fresh take on monster movies. He's influenced filmmakers, artists, and storytellers, proving that the impact of the King of Monsters is as colossal as the creature himself. And there we have it, a deep dive into the epic evolution of Godzilla. From his origins as a metaphor for nuclear devastation to his status as a global cultural icon, Godzilla's journey is nothing short of legendary. He's a character who continues to evolve, reflecting the fears and hopes of the times while providing us with thrilling entertainment. So, what about you? What's your favorite Godzilla era or movie? Do you prefer him as the city-stomping menace, the heroic protector, or somewhere in between? Let's get the conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Memo: if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite topics. Bell, thanks for joining me on this monstrous adventure. Until next time, keep exploring and stay awesome. Peace out, Scissor.